Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to be talking about piercing related items, like an update on mine, my newest one here, which is what you'd call either a helix or cartilage piercing. Goes by a few different names depending on who you talk to, and just an update I guess on everything else, but more or less this guy here. And let's get started. So with this piercing here, if you can see it, lighting is bad here. Oh my goodness. Okay, so this one here is my newest piercing. It is, I call it a helix piercing. You could call it upper helix, upper cartilage, or a cartilage piercing, whatever it is that you want to call it. Like I said, everybody calls it different things. Um, I got it done October 25th of 2016, so it's not quite 3 months old yet, and it's not fully healed yet. My piercer that I go to, that I trust with all of my piercings, had said that that particular piercing usually takes anywhere from like 3 to 8 weeks, not 3 weeks, like 6 to 8 weeks, or upwards of 12 weeks. For me, it usually takes a little bit longer than that, just because my body, when it comes to actual piercings, my body is a slow healer, but if I were to take a piercing out, the holes close up very quickly. And I also wanted to talk a little bit about retired piercings that I have had and why I don't have them anymore. But back to this guy here. It's, like I said, it's not fully healed yet. Still get a little bit of crusties, and which is normal. I think for me, anyways, it's still kind of normal every once in a while to get them. My conch, this guy here, in the inside of my ear. Again, I apologize for the lighting, but it's this one here. Once in a while, I still get some crusties on it. That one's about 1.5 years old, I think, if I remember right. But yeah, this one, it's still a little bit tender. I just had an MRI yesterday, but I don't know when this video was going to go up, so the other day, but it was yesterday. And I had to have a retainer put in a few days ago, and, obviously my ear wasn't healed, and I had gone back to the piercer that had actually done this piercing for me, and there's really no way to get around putting a retainer in for an MRI where you can't have any metal of any sort on you. So it just kind of irritated it a little bit, but I had originally, I was pierced with a CBR, which is a closure ball ring, and I figured since I was changing out the jewelry to put in a retainer and then having jewelry put back in, I would go with a horseshoe, because for me it just seems like my body likes to heal piercings with horseshoes. I originally had a labret or a labret bar in this one. My mom's puppy back there, even though she's not a puppy anymore. So yeah, I was originally pierced with a labret or a labret bar in here, and then I had switched to a CBR on that one, and it was doing good, and then all of a sudden it just got really irritated and didn't want to heal fully with the CBR. And I think about 1 year ago I had an MRI done, which is like the reason why I had one last year and one this year is a whole separate thing, but she's just being goofy. So I had an MRI done last year, and this one, it just kind of got irritated, and so I had gone to a new piercer, and I just said, it's getting really irritated. It stayed irritated. It was not infected, but it was just really irritated, and it just was sore and tender. And so I said I would like to have a horseshoe put in because, I felt like I wanted something a little bit different other than like a stud or a CBR. And so he helped me pick out this horseshoe in particular for my ear. It's a little bit wider in between the two balls so that it sits comfortably in my ear, and within a matter of days, um, it went back to normal. Obviously, because at that point when I had the horseshoe put in, it was just kind of like, it was really tender because, putting in new jewelry and taking out jewelry and stuff, it just irritated the piercing. So, all is said and done with this, I've had really good luck with a horseshoe in it. And so I'm hoping that will be the case for this one. Having it heal up maybe a little bit quicker because the CBR is not pushing on it. The only downfall is if you have longer hair. Hair does like to get in between here and kind of pull a little bit. That's why you got to be a little bit careful on them. But other than that, I absolutely love them. This one here is just titanium silver, and it's just plain. Whereas I don't know if you'll be able to see this one. It looks more blue on the camera, but it's what they call viridian, which is kind of like a greenish-y color. And I just thought it was really pretty. And my piercer helped me pick out one that would fit really good in my ear. Not all piercers would pierce with a CBR or a horseshoe or whatever, and I suggest talking with your piercer, one that you trust, and just kind of see what would work best for you and your body. Because I know every piercer does piercings differently, and they use, I don't know, just I've gone to enough piercers where, they've all have said and done different things. So I recommend going and just talking with somebody that you trust. I've done videos on like how to pick a piercer, and other things like that. Retired piercings that I have. I had my first holes done on my lobes, both ears done originally when I was 13. And I had those for about a year. I took them out just because I was 13 or 14 at the time when I took them out, and I just decided that at that point I didn't want them anymore and moved on with my life. And back in 2011, I was 20. It was just after my 25th birthday. I had gotten them redone. Not with these particular, this jewelry, but I had them redone. A piece of advice that I would like to give all of you that are watching, please, please, please do not ever go to a place where they use a piercing gun. What I had done for my first and second holes on both sides of my ears, I have them done. I had gone to a place where they used a gun. I don't recommend doing it. That was before, obviously, I knew like the risk of having somebody pierce with a gun, just because they can't sterilize or clean the tool properly, and what the actual gun does is tear your skin. And instead of like a hollow needle just goes through and takes away the excess skin, a piercing gun leaves that skin in there and it just tears, and it's not good. So I'm not saying that like that's an excuse for me, but in hindsight, I wish I had like waited and done research and gone to some place that used a needle instead of going to a place where they used guns. All of my other piercings that I have or have had done were with needles. All of them are different sizes. But luckily, with both lobes, on both ears, all the piercings are fine. They've healed. But some people, I've heard horror stories on other various things, like upper ears. I've actually, with this ear, again, I was stupid. I originally had my upper ear, right in here, done with a gun, and it didn't heal. I had that for about year and a half, and it just didn't want to heal. It hurt, and what a gun does is actually shatter the cartilage. Again, it rips through the skin. It's just not good, not healthy. So I recommend going to a piercer. A retired piercing that I used to have my rook, which is this little piece of cartilage right in here. And why I had retired that one. The shop that I used to go to, the piercer that I used to go see had left, and so the shop had gotten a new piercer, and the shop that I went to was one where I used to get tattoos, and they used to offer piercing. And like I said, the piercer that I used in there had left and still hadn't opened up a shop or anything, so I was waiting for him to open. And where I get my tattoos, he said, "Oh, this guy's really good." He hired a piercer, and he was just not a good piercer. I found out my tattoo artist is a very, very good tattoo artist. Maybe other people have had luck with the piercer at that shop. I personally had 2 piercings from him and did not like him. It was just kind of a horror story with this. He had put in a 16 gauge curved barbell in there. It was too short. I couldn't really clean. Obviously, it was very tender and sore and it hurt. And I just couldn't get in there to clean, so I had to go back within a few days. And I said, "Look, like, I can't get in there to clean it. I don't want it to get infected." And he said, "This is like what you're supposed to have." And I said, like, I can't get in there to clean it. So what he did, he was just, I feel like he wasn't professional. He had literally rammed in a 14 gauge curved barbell and literally just shoved right through the hole. I'm sitting there with like tears in my eyes. And then I had gone like 6 or 8 months down the road with that piercing in when I wanted to change it out for something shorter. I didn't know at the time that it was a 14 gauge. The piercer that I originally was going to had opened up a shop with his now wife, and he said that's a 14 gauge that was in there, so he switched it out for something shorter and something that was the proper gauge for it. And it was another little while after that. It was fine for a while, and then it just kind of got really sore and sensitive and stayed that way for a few weeks when I just kind of decided maybe it's time that it should just come out, because I had it a total of, I think it would have been 2 years next month, and I just wanted to retire it. I didn't want to, but I just felt like it was time for it to be retired. So, I feel good about the decision now, but it was just kind of hard then because I really like piercings. And then the next retired one, I don't know if you can even see the scar, but I had a piercing right here. Again, that was with the piercer that kind of messed up my rook. And that one was a good piercing. I liked the placement and everything, but again, it was doing good for a while, and then it just kind of got sore and stayed that way. And I knew that it was like kind of past where it should have been healed, but it was still really irritated, and I was just like, enough's enough. I couldn't wear headphones, I couldn't sleep, it was just sore. So I retired it, and surprisingly, I don't really miss that one that much. I don't regret getting it done though, but things happen. I've made a video on belly button piercings. I had mine done twice. That first time was back in 2014. I think February, of 2014, and that lasted 6 or 8 weeks when it finally had rejected. You can actually go see the video on another YouTuber's channel. Her name is Brienne Barbie. Um, it'll actually show pictures of like what had happened, but it rejected. I went to, at the time, my piercer, my old piercer, and he said, just give it a little bit of time, let it heal, and I will try re-piercing it for you. And I had it redone. I think it was like June-ish of 2014. That one had lasted until like November-ish of that year before it rejected again. As to why it rejects, any surface piercing like a dermal, the nape of your neck, eyebrow piercings, belly button piercings, all of those have a good chance of rejecting just because it's not going through something like an ear piercing. And so it was sad for me, but I just kind of, whatever, it happened, I tried, and it just didn't work for me. And I know, it looked good on a lot of people, but it just didn't work for me, my body just didn't want it. So yeah, that is all of the piercings that I wanted to talk about today, and kind of an update on what I have. I also have my nose there. But yeah, that is all that I wanted to talk about today. If you want to see more videos like this, or an update, or anything on any piercing that I have, definitely leave a comment in the comment box below. Give me a big thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you guys later in the next video. Bye!